A joint team of the Delhi and Bihar police tracked down the second accused in the rape of the 5-year-old in the capital. Now, Pradeep, the second accused, was picked up from Lakhisarai in Bihar. The police are looking at confronting the two accused, and if the allegations made by the first accused are found true, they will both be charged with gang rape. There were protests in the capital yesterday over the brutal rape and assault of that little girl who is recovering at AIIMS. Hundreds of protesters descended at police headquarters and Congress Chief Sonia Gandhi's residence last evening, raising slogans and demanding the removal of Police Commissioner Neeraj Kumar. Workers of the BJP's women's wing were detained from near Sonia Gandhi's residence as they broke barricades to move forward. The gatherings are not as big as they were after the December 16th gang rape of a physiotherapy student. The anger among protesters is the same. At the police headquarters, scores of Aam Aadmi Party members staged a protest, also demanding the removal of the police commissioner as well as the arrest of the policemen who are allegedly lax in dealing with the case of the girl. Let's go over to NDTV Sonal Mehrotra, who joins us for more on this story. Sonal, first of all, the second arrest which has taken place really takes the horror story of an already horrifying narrative to greater heights.
It is very horrifying because now we know that police alleges has made two people accused in the case. Now we know that two people actually were the one who carried out that horrific crime on that 5-year-old. Now details emerging from police sources tell us that Manoj, who was was under interrogation with the Delhi police from Saturday, revealed in his during the course of his interrogation there was another man who was his partner in crime in this entire horrific incident. He said that another man called Pradeep, also belonging to Bihar, whom he befriended while both of them were on look of job here in the national capital, were part of it, were partners, were both present in the room when that crime took place. Now, based on those allegations, initially Delhi police had given out a clarification saying that they were not looking into the case and they were not taking his allegations very seriously. But perhaps due to other investigations emerging out, Delhi police has late last night arrested this man Pradeep. Now, all we know about Pradeep as per now is that he's a man who belongs to Bihar, is of a similar age as the main accused Manoj. Both of them from Bihar travelled, befriended perhaps, sources telling us, on a train to New Delhi, and that's where their friendship grew. Now, for police, the challenge really will be now to try and prove both these cases, because now remember, Kajori, it's not a case of rape but a case of gang rape now. Police has asked for a remand from Bihar. On remand, will be getting the second accused to Delhi on remand, and will be putting them onto the same table to try and piece together the actual happening of the entire incident, and actually also trying to understand what really was the motive to carry out such a horrific crime against just a 5-year-old.
Right. Now, of course, let's also go back to the other issue of the protests that we've been seeing over the weekend. And these protests have actually had some very specific demands, and those specific demands are that action be taken against the police. Of course, there's outrage about the crime itself, but there's almost equal outrage about what is being seen as the apathy and callousness of the police.
Well, Kachari, this time around, unlike the protests which we saw in December 16, the protests on the streets have been very political in nature, right from BJP to Aam Aadmi Party to various fronts, including CPI, and all these parties have got down on the streets demanding answers. Pressure obviously building on one man, which is the Delhi Police Commissioner Neeraj Kumar. Also pressure building demands coming from women's group for not just the suspension of the ACP who was caught on camera slapping a protester, but also a legal action against him. This, they say, is required because the new current anti-rape law, which is now in place, it says that if an erring police officer is found and such cases are formed against him, there can be a legal action. Based on that, we have seen protests. Yesterday, we saw a massive protest, Kajori, at ITO, which is just at the footsteps, right under the nose of the police headquarters. The entire square of ITO, the ITO chalk famously called, was jam-packed for more than 5 hours. Protesters standing in a human chain across the entire chalk. All roads leading to ITO were blocked, one of the busiest intersection of the national capital. But that was during the end of the day. During the earlier part of the day, we saw BJP's Mahila Morcha protest give a surprise protest right at the doorstep of Congress Chief Sonia Gandhi. So we've seen such political protests, but not many. But yesterday's student protests being one of the most massive of them. Today we know the women's group also are going to be sitting at Jantar Mantar, raising those same demands, raising their voice against him. And also one of the women's leader, Kavita Krishnan, who sought her appointment with the police chief commissioner, will be meeting with him at around 1 o'clock. So it will be interesting to see what really comes out of that meeting as well.